Hey you guys, I am turning my inbox, the questions that I get asked by our clients, into a quick Q&A and a value add for all the rest of you who get the free content and are not yet doing tax planning with us. Perhaps you are doing tax planning with us and have the same questions as well. So I'm going to do a bunch of these and see if they are helpful. The question was asked, hey, I've been living in the Florida house. We just moved to New Jersey. We were trying to sell the Florida house, but the market has slowed down in Florida, and so we are not able to sell it as quickly as possible. Can you walk me through the pros and cons of being able to rent out this Florida house for a period of time until we figure out how to sell it when the market comes back up, presumably middle of next year? So here's my response to our client here. So essentially, let me back up. The question he's asking is, can I turn my primary home into rental use? Is there a tax benefit in doing that? And what is that benefit? And are there downsides to this that I should be aware of that maybe I'm just missing? Maybe I have a blind spot. So I'm going to give you the tax benefit first, and then I'm going to walk you through something called the 121 exclusion and how it gets impacted. So the obvious tax benefit in his case, and it does vary by person, whether you're a real estate professional or not, he is a real estate professional. So in his case, renting this house for a period of time actually allows him to take depreciation on this asset because it now changes use from a primary residence to a rental asset, investment property that is producing income as long as it is actually rented and being advertised for rent. So in his case, for the current tax year, it's a positive outcome because he can take depreciation on it. He also asked me a question about should he do a cost segregation study on it. I'm actually going to come back to that and cover that in a different video. But what I want to answer also for you guys today is, should you take your primary home, move out of it, and then rent it for a period of time? What are the gotchas that you need to be aware of from a tax perspective? So there's two things to think about here. There's something called the 121 exclusion. 121 is an IRC code section that speaks to when you sell your primary home, more times than not, 9 out of 10 times, when your neighbors down the street sell a home, they actually don't end up recognizing capital gains on the sale of their primary home, and it's because of this 121 exclusion. So in the 121 exclusion, as long as you have owned, there's an ownership and a use test. So as long as you've owned and lived in your primary home 2 out of the last 5 years, then the 121 exclusion applies. So you can see now this couple moving out of their primary home, starting to rent it out. You might be thinking, well, what happens to that 121 exclusion? And let me give you some figures. So for a single taxpayer, it's $250K of gain that you would otherwise have to recognize on sale of an asset. It gets excluded. For a married filing joint, it is $500,000. So as long as your house did not go up in value over and above, so let's say you bought it for $300,000, you sold it for $500,000. Let's say you're simple math, $200,000 delta. You're not paying any capital gains on that or income tax on that sale. It's an exclusion event. You don't pay tax on it. It's a benefit for home ownership here in the United States. Getting to my point of, if you move out and now you're renting it for a period of time, now there's a change in use. You can now benefit from depreciation, but also now if you sell it on the back end, you need to think about cap gains and depreciation recapture. So here's a key takeaway. As long as you've lived in it 2 out of 5 years, the 121 exclusion stays intact, you can rent it for 3 more years. So let's say you lived in it for 2024, 2025, you move out, you can rent it for 3 years without eating into your 121 exclusion. If you sell at the end of the 3-year period, you're still going to have to pay recapture on the depreciation that you've taken, but the capital gain, the 121 exclusion, stays intact. So you can still have a very favorable outcome by renting it out, having rental income, taking the depreciation on it, without recognizing any capital gain over and above the 121 exclusion. Now, should you rent it for the next 10 years, you've surpassed the 3-year clock. Now it truly is a rental asset. Now you have to account for capital gain and recapture. That needs tax planning. But this is a very interesting strategy where you can have a change in use, have 3 years of rental income, and still exit our asset. We have some clients who time it this way so they don't end up paying any capital gains on the sale of their primary home. I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, drop it in the comment section and I'd be happy to address it. Thanks.